Hello and welcome. You're tuned to the League Up, your weekly thoroughbred preview podcast, and we're back in the relative tranquility of the studio after last week's efforts out at Trentham. No lawn mowers, drones, Paul, to deal with this morning, so that's been something.
It has been, yeah. It's a wee bit, I guess, slightly underwhelming.
Is that how you're framing it?
Well, you know, when there are things going on in the background, there's always, it just seems like it's the place that we should be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, true. It was a nice day out at Trentham
on the Friday.
Yeah, on the Friday. Well, you were there on the Saturday. How was it?
The weather really didn't play its part. And of course the track ended up a heavy,
9, 10, was it, Steve, in the end?
Oh, yeah, I think it was bordering on a 9, somewhere around an 8, 9, yeah. But, a few boilovers. Leaderboard winning the Cup at 50-1 was a losing liability, naturally, with the high syndicate or big syndicate that was involved there. And he's a doozy who was very soft in the market. I think almost touched $20 on the close. But it was a peach of a ride from Cozzy, from an inside gate to veer the horse out. Look, the horse had to be travelling well to find that spot to the outside stretch, but the best horse won on the day.
Was that his first Group 1, Cozzy? Was that his first
Group 1?
Yeah, congratulations.
Well done, Cozzy.
There was the odd excuse down to the ride. Did it lose a vital spot for the 3-year-old? Sharp and smart, a vital point. You could probably reflect on that in terms of a horse that could have gone close to winning, but he's a doozy, deserved that victory on the back of the Copelands late last year.
Okay, and you were up at the sales during the weekend on the Sunday there.
Arrived on Sunday, managed to get up there after all the dramas with the rain that fell in Auckland leading up to the first day of the sales on Sunday. So I got up there on the Sunday, and look, it was horrible weather. It was still thunder and lightning, heavy rain throughout the early stages of Sunday, but managed to get up there, and it was just great vibe, seeing all the vendors, the marquees and the tents and the staff working tirelessly. And it was just great to see those overseas buyers on site and bidding for our horses, our thoroughbreds that everybody had bred in the last 12 to 18 months. And looking at the numbers stacked up very well. Look, we had a couple of years with COVID and the drama surrounding that when it came to the sales and online purchases rather than being on site. But the numbers backed up. The average was up, the median was up 30k, and the clearance rate was up 2% as well. So, I think New Zealand Bloodstock were hoping for those numbers, knowing that the overseas, the Australians in particular, were back on site to bid. But obviously, you had the tip of the recession possibly happening this year as well. So there was a few concerns outside COVID coming back into track. But overall, a pretty good success.
Relatively successful then.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think they'd be pretty stoked with the numbers that fell. We've still got, I think, the last day of day 2 today, possibly.
Yep.
Book 2. The first 3 days were book 1, and the last few days have been book 2, where we've seen New Zealand trainers be quite active.
Okay, let's head up in that direction anyway. Brendan, you're not based in Auckland, but it's been a weird old week for you weather-wise up there anyway.
It certainly has, Thad. A very good morning, team. And we haven't obviously copped the brunt of it as much as Auckland here in Hamilton, but have still, certainly seen a fair bit of rain in the region, and hence why we have a race meeting today that was down to race on Wednesday, and that of course is a key race day too. That and been the Waikato Guineas, if you are watching this live currently, with that race to go this afternoon. So a rejig there, and it'll be interesting to see what happens this afternoon too, with some rain circling about just where that track condition sits. But overall it's been a big week for the industry, sort of on and off the track, in a number of ways as well, and a lot of people are still affected by those floods in certain regions too, and across the industry. So we're certainly thinking of them and what is a real tough stage. And look, we know that there's some more bad weather to come as well. So it has been a tricky last few days, that is for sure. But on the racing front, a big day out of Trentham, wasn't it, to be able to take in the racing from that venue. And Leaderboard, who had that exhibition gallop throughout the week, wins the Wellington Cup for Joe Doyle, and as you mentioned, the win for Cozzy Asano. That was pretty neat to see. With he's a doozy, who was of course got the Copelands Mile win earlier on in the season. But looking forward to what's a real busy racing program now, isn't it? With races on every day. Right up till, Wednesday, and then probably through that as well. So lots coming up over the next 7 days.
Yeah, I giggle only because I'm thinking of you, Steve, with race meetings over the next 7 days. You and your team having to plough through all that.
Yeah, well, obviously a holiday on Monday, a meeting at Taupo on Tuesday, and running right through to Sunday. We've got a meeting domestically, so it's full on.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, let's get into some racing. We're going to start with you, Pops, back back with you with your maiden of the week. What did you find for us this week?
Yeah, I went to Riccarton. I found a horse that is on a path towards getting towards a Group 1 race. He's a 3-year-old. His name is Tough Time. There's a lot I like about this win by Tough Time. Look, to be honest with you, I thought the win was going to come 2 starts ago at Wingatui, but was a huge effort on that occasion, was backed like it was going to win at Wingatui. Didn't quite happen, but this was the day for the Tough Time last Saturday out of Riccarton Park. I don't mind the form out of this race. I think this form will hold up too. Very gallant run by the second horse. I tell you what, Jasmine Fawcett was on that second horse and went very close to winning because it fought all the way up the straight. She won 5 races. Massive ups to Jasmine Fawcett for gaining 5 victories on the day there out of Riccarton Park and very close to making it 6. I think second, third and fourth, the horses we can all follow out of this race. Sit Down Deer, Devil in Disguise, a horse who'd been off the scene for a little period, actually ran the right sectionals from back in the field to say that horse can win next time. And Lucky Simon, a horse who'd shown a lot of potential here out through trials, has now gone south, and that was his first run down the South Island, finishing into 4th position. So I think we can really follow those first 4 with a fair bit of interest with our maiden of the week behind Tough Time.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously rated Tough Time. Yeah.
I'm glad that Brendan mentioned Jasmine Fawcett because she had a huge day down at Riccarton there. 5 winners.
Yeah,
was only just a neck away from a 6th.
Yeah.
So I think she deserves a
Bouquet or...
Well, I think an unofficial, inaugural leg up performance of the week.
I like it. I like it. You're going to come back with one next week though, otherwise.
Well, have we got a budget? Can we give Jasmine?
Have we got a budget? Now you're joking.
Okay, so Jasmine, next time you're out and about and you see either Fad or BP, they will shout you a coffee.
Okay, done.
Yeah.
Well done to Jasmine, absolutely. It's a tough time, Steve. It was impressive. And nominated for a Levin Classic, and boy, oh boy, they piled it on Saturday. No doubt.
I think it was 201 prior to the victory. Got as short as $81 in futures for the Levin Classic. You see there the overall class rating, speed rating was 1.8 lengths above par and rated superior to the other maiden 1400 earlier on the day. So a lot going around. Tough Time. The second horse was very good considering it set up a nice sectional to the 600, and the third horse ran home. I think, as BP mentioned, the best closing split, 6-4-2 splits, even though it was beaten a decent margin. So, look, I don't know how many you want to follow outside the top 3, but in terms of closing sectionals, the third horse held merit, but definitely the first 2 worth going forward.
Yep, okay. Interesting to see where Tough Time goes next. Obviously nominated for that Levin Classic. Okay, team, we've got 2 big meetings, Taranaki and obviously Champions Day at Wingatui. We're going to start up north at New Plymouth, Steve, and just run us through track conditions there, can you?
You're currently a soft 7, rail in the true position. There's the odd shower forecast between now and race day, so hopefully it's not going to get too much worse than a soft 7. The key about New Plymouth, they haven't raced there for a long time. The 1st of December was the most recent meeting. Obviously, they had a meeting on the 24th of December, but that was moved to Harwater. So it should be in fairly good nick. There's been a bit of work done on the track between now and the last 6 to 8 weeks, but we're hoping for a good day, and hopefully that track can hold up to around about that 7 mark.
Okay, 2 races we want to have a look at. First one is the Taranaki Cup, and run us through this market, Steve.
Self Obsession $3.60, Bella the Bull at 3.8, Soldier Boy at $5 off a peak of $5.50. Zola Express, as we always touch on, a well-backed commodity on Thursday and Friday to drive its price into 7. Mary Louise, in terms of single figure prices, is at $8.50, then double figures around River Run. Ruark at $14, Super Sid $15, and Hurricane Colorado Star 21 each of 2. But just a nice even spread of money. Bella the Bull's been moved from a $4.20 price into $3.80, really battling that pointy end of the market with the stablemate and Self Obsession, as I mentioned, Soldier Boy, a firmer. So look, there's a nice even spread between the top 4 or 5 in the market.
I like this race, Pops. I like this race a lot. Obviously, Tiako hold the key up the top of the book there, and there has been a bit of a move for Bella the Bull. And look, Self Obsession would deserve a win. Very consistent, running good races, but hasn't quite been get over the line, and his supporters will probably just be feeling it in the pocket a little bit.
Yes, yeah. I'm actually in that corner of feeling the pocket at the moment with Self Obsession, and then that's the thing. Do you go again? I mean, with Self Obsession around her. Just quickly to this map, Stephen. You feel as though Ruark is very much a default leader in this race?
Yeah, I think so, BP. From a tricky gate, I think they've got no option to push forward. We've seen it in its first runs back, but probably overall in its career it likes to use tactical speed and be in the first 2 or 3. So I think Ruark from that tricky gate will move across and potentially lead. The intriguing runner is the current favourite himself, Obsession. We saw as a 3-year-old as a horse that likes to sit on speed. But very much as a 4-year-old, they've gone more to that neutral position. There's been a couple of circumstances around that, purely down to barriers and speed of tempo, etc. in a lot of races it's found itself in. But there's just no speed in this race outside Ruark. So I think Michael can be quite positive on number 8, Self Obsession, and ride it. It's the best horse in the field and show a bit of its tactical speed it's shown as a 3-year-old filly. So I've got her going forward. It's a little bit of a gamble, but I just feel that's the best way to ride her for her chances on Saturday. Look, Colorado Star has shown tactical speed over shorter trips, so from a wide gate they may look to chance their run there. Soldier Boy, I just mapped to get a gorgeous run. Either gets the trail or 2-back rail, depending on Self Obsession's tactics. Zola Express has low tactical speed, so even from barrier 1 we'll get back to the last third. Super Sid, Hurricane, River Run, same tactics there, low gate speed. And Mary Louise and Bella the Bull. Sticky gates where they can get a bit of cover midfield remains to be seen. But overall tempo, well below par unless we see a drastic change in terms of an intent from a rider/horse.
Okay, look, Self Obsession, you mentioned it, BP. You've been in the camp, but the run for second in the Queen Elizabeth Cup on January the 1st was good, getting close to a win for sure.
Look, she is, and she holds the best form in the race, doesn't she, with what she's shown this season, because she's run second in 3 very good races. This race we're showing you now in the Queen Elizabeth II Cup, which was a defeat in behind Dionysus. Ran second in the Counties Cup. There were times in that Counties Cup defeat that it looked like she was going to hold out Aromatic in very testing conditions. And of course she's run second in a Karaka Classic as well this season. So she's running the right races to say that this could be just a drop back to this race, the Group 3 over the 1800 metres. There's also a drop back in distance. We do have to point out as well, back to the 1800 metres. Does that suit her, or is she looking for some more of that 2002-1 distance? I mean, she has been bombed here over 2400 metres, so where do we sit with her running over 1800 metres? I think she is, as I said, the one to beat in the race because she does bring the very strong form out of the right races. But at the same time, I'm very mindful of the CD horses in this race, and one of them being the local in Zola Express. I ran second in the race last year when it was held at Awapuni. We know the horse goes well on the home track. The wet conditions shouldn't be an issue for her. And Soldier Boy, who, look, he's one of those hard horses to catch, isn't he? And he sort of caught people off guard last time when he was able to win at the price that he was. But when he sort of wins, you go, yeah, well, it is Soldier Boy. He's a good horse. He ran a great race in the Derby last year, and that's the form I always keep coming back to with how well he ran in that Derby. He was able to pick up some key victories before going into a Livermore when looking like a decent chance. He's just a tough horse. He's a very tough horse, is Soldier Boy. He's drawn nicely in barrier number 2, as Stephen mentioned, where he can get into a very sweet position in the race. And then he gets in a dogfight like this, and then if he look at the fight here, Segundo's a very hard horse to get past. We've seen that in races recently, and obviously this effort here. And then on the outside, you've got Ladies Man too. So, look, Soldier Boy is the one I keep coming back to at the same time as well, even though I think Self Obsession is the horse to beat.
Paulie, what about Bella the Bull? Because that was a huge run in the anniversary, getting home behind Ballon Rouge, and you'd think the step to 1800 metres looks like it'll suit the horse.
Yeah, and the win that, I think it was Matamata before the anniversary was very, very good. So, and once again, we're looking at Mark Walker at the top of the market. Why do we look anywhere else when he can get a $50 shot home in the Wellington Cup? Here we have Bella the Bull finishing off very, very nicely in the anniversary. I don't think we'll have to do much more to be right in this on Saturday. So, look, I can understand the reasoning behind Self Obsession and Bella the Bull at the top of that market, but I've decided to look elsewhere. Once again, and I agree with BP in terms of Zola Express. Once again, we'll be looking at the skies just to check out how much rain. There's a bit of rain forecast. We'll probably get a track that will probably suit. And I thought the run in between the anniversary and the Captain Cook by Zola Express was very, very good. There's one other that I'm looking at as well, River Run. Trained by Tony Buck. Has had a couple of trials though, so we'll have a certain amount of fitness anyway. Won't mind the sting out of the track. Has won from 1,300 to 2,000 metres. Gets the services of Warren Kennedy. I think there are a lot more positives than negatives in terms of River Run. I know Fresh Up, but I could run a race, I think.
Okay, $10 River Run. Stephen, look, BP makes a good point about self-obsession back to the 1800, but has had a little bit of a break between runs. What's your sort of take on this race?
Look, if you go back last start, the QE2, the race shape was run to suit. They went very hard to the 600, and she was in that neutral position with the winner as well, Dionysus, who's franked the form running a placing in the Wellington Cup last week. But look, I don't want to take that against her just purely because how the race was run at Te Rapa heading into this race. Back in trip, no dramas. Again, I just think it's crucial to ride her as the best horse in the field, put her in a spot where there's low speed from other runners in the first furlong or two out of the machine. I think Michael can sit outside the leader here in Ruark, and between Ruark and Self Obsession, they could control this race right up to the 600 and make it a sprint home. Look, she can ask to be sprinted a long way from home if they want to get going from the 800 on. We've seen that as a 3-year-old and also as a 4-year-old. She has a long sustaining turn of foot Self Obsession, but look, I'd like to see her ridden with a bit of intent early doors and put herself in the race. And I think that's the crucial part around her chances on Saturday. She's ideally suited. She's got a rating of 92. That's the highest rating for any horse in this race. Equal with Zola Express, and being a mare gets that 2 kg weight relief, being set weights and penalties as well. So in terms of where she sits with the conditions of the race, it's bang on the mark here, Self Obsession. So she has to be one of the leading chances.
Okay, well, what about Ruark then? $14. Going to be the leader by all accounts, and may get a pretty soft one in front. Is it the track conditions that are keeping that price out there at $14?
Yeah, I think so, and stepping up. It's been contesting 75 grade, so it has to step up against open class horses and black type performers, Ruark, but he'll get his opportunity. First time 1800 as well, which is always a slight question mark. It's been running its best figures 14 and 16. Ran a good race from memory at Manawatu against the 3-year-olds over 2,000 metres late last season, so you don't want to totally knock it 1800 metres, but it's had a nice grounding to get to 1800 first time this preparation. As I mentioned, it's going to get a default lead here, and it's going to have every opportunity just purely on that basis alone.
Okay. Colorado Star out at 21. BP, surmise the race. Which way are you going to attack the Taranaki Cup this year?
Look, I'm going to stick with the locals, to be honest with you. I'm going to go to the 1 and the 2 in Soldier Boy and Zola Express. I like them both, but where they do sit in the marketplace at around that $5 and $7 price. I think they'll both run huge races with a lot of things in their favour in terms of conditions and also racing at New Plymouth. So I can't steer away from them. And obviously Self Obsession as well, who's been not too far away from getting it done, and this could be the right suitable race for her to be able to crack it. So yeah, I'm Soldier Boy, Zola Express in the Dennis Wheeler Earth Moving Taranaki Cup, and certainly if he's the right man to be able to contact as well if he wants some earth moved, and I can certainly guarantee that because he came and did some work on our property. Why am I talking about Dennis Wheeler Earth Moving Property? Well, of course, Dennis is my wife's uncle, so a big hi to Uncle Dennis and Auntie Debbie, who are big viewers of the League Up.
Oh, my apologies, I missed that. The Dennis Wheeler Earth Moving. Didn't realise he was Uncle Dennis. And very good plug. Very good plug, BP. Paul, what are you going to do here at Taranaki Cup? The Dennis Wheeler Earth Moving Taranaki Cup.
Well, probably against...
I'm going to say you boys better both not be going against Te Akau here.
Yeah. You know what's going to happen now. They're going to Quinella the race. So, yeah, I'm looking outside of Self Obsession and Bella the Ball. I do like Zola Express, River Run. And look, I'm going to have a little each way go on Hurricane as well. The Raymond Connors train, son of Nom de Jeu. Getting on, but look, wasn't the worst run in the down at Coomera, and the rain won't worry it whatsoever.
That's true.
Sarah O'Malley's going all right.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, okay. Hurricane. Well, he's been a top horse in his day. Out there at what? $21.
21s.
I'll tell you what, he's a jumper to follow. Boy, his jumping performance before he came back in the Nuggets. Raymond Connors, we know he can produce a jumper. I think he's a horse to follow this winter.
Yeah, okay, beautiful. We've got a winter horse to follow already on the League Up.
Well, he'll probably get winter conditions Saturday.
Yeah, well, okay, very good. Okay, Steve, who's the horse to beat in the Taranaki Cup?
I think Soldier Boy. I'm liking BP's thoughts around Soldier Boy. I think he gets a gorgeous run, regardless of tempo up front. He can sit, trail, or maybe 2-back rail. He loves the track.
albeit I don't want it any worse than an 8. I think his wheelhouse sits between 5 and 8. Soldier Boy doesn't like it rock hard, but obviously we've seen a couple of disappointing runs this preparation, purely down to the heavy track conditions. One that comes to mind was the Group 1 Livermore at Hastings, where it was bottomless. He just didn't handle the track that day. So anywhere between a pentrometer reading of 5 and 8, perfect for Soldier Boy. I've got him on top and the horse to beat.
Okay, $5 Soldier Boy. Tiako hit the call though, obviously with Bella the Ball and Self Obsession. Race number 7, gentlemen, the Grange Williams Stud Oaks Prelude over the 1800. Steve, can you run us through this market?
Yeah, nice race. Headed by She's Dominant at $4.20, and about a well-backed commodity, but quite often a well-backed runner, She's Dominant with the syndicate involved. 4.2 holds the call and the original quote. Claral, 5.50 out of 4 to 6.5. Family Ties in a turn there, 7.50 into $7. She's the same price with Freedom Reigns. Contagious, 8.50 with Fabulous Gal. Sacred Dream, double figures, 9 out a couple turns to 11. Elegant Lady, 13. The Woman King at 18 with Unscripted. Unscripted is your best horse that's been spec'd at a longer price, 26, now shaved into 18, and best of the rest is Bolano at 21. So, look, overall summary, they're very keen on the favourite, trained by Fraser Rett and ridden by Sam Spratt. She's Dominant at 4.2, but specking for Family Ties and also Unscripted, number 9.
Okay, BP, no surprise to see a relatively open market in an Oaks Prelude because these fillies can improve over time and at relatively short notice, but She's Dominant second in the Wellington Stakes last time was pretty eye-catching.
It was, yeah, it certainly was. I guess it was 72 days ago, which has to be a bit of a query, doesn't it? And no doubt they're looking at trying to plot their way towards getting to the Oaks. This is the run in behind Devastate when finishing second in the Wellington Stakes. Of course, Devastate following this then ran 9th in the $1 million Karaka Classic out of Pukekohe Park. And look, there's form in this race, isn't there? I mean, you go back to the 3rd and 4th horse in this race, you've got Penny Wecker in Duncan Creek, who nearly caused a massive boil over when going up to win in the Wellington Guineas. So there's form there, and even the 2 horses that finished back second to last and last have won races. I find this a very tricky race. Boy, I find this a hard race. There is a number of maiden form lines we have to try and work out. Horses that are getting some extra distance, which will be key for their chances going towards that next step of 2,000, 2,100, then to 2,400 if they believe they're good enough to get to the New Zealand Oaks. So I find this very sticky race to try and bet into. And with that being the case, I am looking elsewhere. I'm trying to find a diamond somewhere in here. Is it horses like Sacred Dream, who produced an effort last time to the races? I know a horse that they've always rated out of the Andrew Forsman stable. I did like the Woman King, even the way that horse won last time out at Hawke's Bay in a maiden race. Fabulous Gal won on very wet track conditions. Do we get those sort of conditions? How much does she come into it, this particular runner? And Family Ties. Family Ties, of course, did beat Cruise Missile and was a one-time maiden of the week on the show purely because of how she won that race and what we thought would be very good form around that race, and that certainly has been proven the case with around that Family Ties race with a number of horses going on and doing the business. Now, this is the effort last time to the races when finishing into 5th position in behind Creator, who's gone back, has gone, 2 from 2. And the horse was working home and was working through the line, so I sort of see her as my selection in the race. But I also look at this race and I think, boy, I am looking at a number of different options here, just trying to find something at a bit of value, the likes of Fabulous Gal and co. So, yep, I think it's a banana skin race, to be honest with you.
Okay, they walked the first 600.
It's been running in some good races, Family Ties. $140,000, $85,000, and back to a 65, where it looks like the numbers just didn't stack up for it, Steve.
There's been a few things that have gone against us since that impressive maiden win, as BP alluded on, at Hastings a few weeks ago. But look, race shape's been against it. In particular, you saw that last race at Matamata where they've absolutely crawled to the 600, 10 lengths below par. The 2 horses that were 1-2 on the map, Creator and His Business Time, controlled that race. Look, potentially they may have been the best 2 horses in that field, but they're also helped by the tempo of the race, or lack of it, and they've sprinted home and Quinella that race. But you did see there Family Ties, who was in that neutral position, ran home the fastest 8, 6,
4 closing splits, and it gets that man Opie Bosson aboard. Who, look, I don't think she's the easiest horse to ride, so with Opie jumping on, that's a huge positive around number 4, Family Ties. Big field, you'd think maybe even tempo. Hopefully to have its chances, Family Ties. I've also got the filly on top as well in that third line at $7.
Crikey, Paul. Like these are so tricky, these races where they've got all this maiden form to try and line up. What are your thoughts here?
Well, I'm glad that Steve mentioned some very, very quick sectionals, because I think I found another sectional special, Unscripted, the Lisa Latter train, who has already seen a wee bit of action in the book. $26 into 18 as we speak on Friday. Flew home 2 starts back on a heavy track at Wanganui, but the run, the last start at Hawke's Bay on a good track, I thought that was even more impressive for 4th. Recorded the fastest last 8, 6, 4 and 200 metre splits that day. I can understand why the money's on.
Well, Lisa Latter's flying too at the moment.
He's a doozy, yep.
Okay.
Looks like she's got another good one here.
Yeah, okay, so you think
Unscripted.
31s was a gift?
Yeah, well, the market has told us that was definitely a gift.
The only concern, it was a very slow last 600, that race. It was passing some tired horses. I think 9 lengths below par, almost 37 and change for the last 600, that maiden at Hastings. So,
he did get held up slightly as well. She did get held up slightly and came off and still picked up. And I think the 1800 will suit right down to a T.
These are tricky BP, aren't they? I mean, even Contagious has won last time. Breaking Maidens was good, but all these maiden winners, it's very hard to line up, isn't it?
It is, and that's why she's dominant, is the favourite, because she's already proven herself, hasn't she? She's a horse that, is a stakes performer. She's dominant. So you can understand why the horse is the favourite, and we probably can guarantee that she'll be ready because she's trained by a very good trainer in Fraser Allred. So those are the things you have to weigh up here for this afternoon, for Saturday's race. And look, maybe she is the one because she has that maybe a little bit extra on her side, or is it a case of just trying to circle around the market and try and find something? Like, to be honest with you, I like sort of 3 horses in this race that I could be happy to have a spec on or want to throw them into a quaddie or something like that. So I think the Woman King is a horse I do want to be following out of this race. I keep coming back to how she's run her first up race, what she was able to do last time to the races when she sat close to speed. Taylor Mitchell sticks with the horse. I thought it was a very game performance with what she was able to do on that occasion. So I think her price could be a touch of an over. She might be a top 4 play. She could blow them out of the quaddie at around that $20 mark. So, yeah, overall, I do like Family Ties, Fabulous Gal, and the Woman King are the 3 that I'm trying to find a bit of a price around.
Okay, look, Steve, Contagious is taking money. The win at Te Rapa last time was good. We're having a look at it here, but money for all of them. We haven't even mentioned the second favourite yet in Claire L.
yeah, this was a good win. Over 1,300 metres Te Rapa on the 18th of January. Look, didn't rate hugely on the clock. In fact, if you're mirroring this performance up, which was over 1,300 metres, the Sacred's Dream win, which was on the same day at 1,400, when you just neutralise the figures, regardless of 13 v 14, Sacred Dream rated 2 lengths superior to what Contagious did. And I think Sacred Dream will appreciate any fire out of the track, where Contagious have just got that slight question mark around her as an individual if it does get worse in a 7. So, look, I'd be leaning towards Sacred Dream from what I saw at Te Rapa against Contagious, but look, they're 2 progressive fillies, but just on the basis of what I saw in the figures that were run that day on the 18th of Jan and the probability of a track that's going to be 7 or worse, I'm in the Sacred Dream camp in front of Contagious. But Corelli, look, I'm not sure. Look, there's a jockey engaged now. I think Sam Weatherly's aboard. Didn't have a jockey, 24 hours ago. It's drawn a wide gate. Look, it ran a nice number at Rotorua on the 28th of December when it broke maiden race at a 1,400 metre event. It hasn't been seen for a long time. It's had a trial on the interim, and the trial BP was very good against open class gallopers. In particular, La Creek was the winner in that race, but it was very soft into that second slot and beating, as I mentioned, some open class gallopers who finished 3rd, 4th and 5th around it. So that was a pretty good on the eye if you want to take so much out of the trials. But where do you put Clorel? Because, look, it did run figures at Rotorua, has to be said, but just hasn't been seen for a while and got a sticky gait.
Yeah, it hasn't been. I mean, look, she's by Savabeel, and obviously they've got themselves a plan, haven't they, after that victory to sort of give her a little freshen up as possible, a trial, and then try and work your way towards that autumn preparation with her to be peaking around the New Zealand Oaks. Look, I think she's a player. I do think she's a player. As you said, the trial was spot on to say she's a chance here. Gates niggly, and we haven't seen her on anything worse than a good track. So they are the red flags around her, just with how this race might be by 13 minutes past 4. And we also see her pushing up in distance for the very first time. I don't think going up in distance should be too much of an issue for her, but just those couple of little question marks coming into the race. But I think she's a horse worth following and worth watching. And what is she, 550, a worthy second favourite behind. Look, a horse, as I said, who's done it. And that's probably the key to this race, isn't it? That She's Dominant's won it at Wanganui Guineas, has been placed in a Wellington Stakes, has the black type form to say that in a race where there's a lot of unknown form lines, at least we know that she has at least turned up on a good stage and has delivered.
Okay, well, BP's with She's Dominant are all family ties as well. Fabulous Girl and the Woman King is his outsider or roughie, and certainly a filly to follow potentially. Paul?
Clarell, on the drift at the moment. Now out to 650.
Yeah, hadn't been a lot of money for it, so
No.
maybe
It's
that
been
gap between
accepted
races.
for the last 2 or 3 weeks for at least 2 meetings, and they've scratched on the back of wet tracks. So it'll be interesting to see if it takes its place, if it gets any worse than a 7. But
I'm glad you bring that up because we have the no deductions, no surprises all summer long, guys. Well, this is exactly the type of meeting where you
Today's the meeting.
To Rapa.
and yes, Te Rapa, yeah, you can bet with a certain amount of confidence. No, and you'll get your price.
As you like to do. What are you doing in the Oaks Prelude, Paul?
I can't look away from unscripted. Just the fact that we've taken a wee bit of action already. $18 is still a juicy price. And that was a very, very good run, I thought, at Hawke's Bay last time out. But I do like family ties. Well, I finished in behind Wild Night at Matamata, what was it, September last year, I think, and beat Cruise Missile, who is, I think, currently on the third line of betting in the Waikato Guineas today. So, yeah, I'm going with unscripted and family ties.
Sounds like you like family ties, Steve, in a word.
Your family ties, Sacred Dream would be the other horse I'd be considering. Not sure about She's Dominant. I think her peak may be 1800, possibly a mile. She's not an overly big filly. Not sure she'll get to an Oaks, but I believe that's her target. That's what they're working back from. Will this race stack up in terms of an Oaks credential? Remains to be seen. It's not a horse, or not a race historically that's been franked towards an Oaks, but yeah, I'd be going family ties and Sacred Dream.
Some great Wellington people in the ownership there around She's Dominant, Mark Solomon, Tom Gilbert, the Bentley team, so good luck to them and this year's Oaks Prelude. Okay, it's half-time, intermission time, Paul, and I did think we do have a minute with Mawati this week. Tell us about this one.
Yep. Well, we've got the CD on Saturday with the new Plymouth races, so we've got a CD jockey, Sarah O'Malley.
Hi, I'm Sarah O'Malley, I'm 23.
Who's been your biggest influence in racing?
Kevin Wise.
What was the first car you owned?
Suzuki SX4.
Toilet paper, over or under?
Over.
Most famous person in your phone contacts?
Geordie Barrett.
Your go-to karaoke song?
I don't sing.
Favourite NRL team?
Eels, are they a team?
They are a team.
Yeah, them.
Favourite junk food?
Chocolate.
Who should be All Black coach?
Adrian Bull.
Who has it easier, jockeys or trainers?
Trainers.
Favourite board game?
Scrabble.
Union or league?
League.
Favourite cocktail?
I don't even drink.
Favourite drink?
Coke.
Fill in the blank. The best Barrett brother is...
Bowden.
He's not even in your phone though.
No, but I got his brother's number.
Okay. Your first celebrity crush?
Bowden Barrett.
Favourite horse you've ridden?
Guy Fawkes and Chick.
Your favourite movie?
Boy.
You can invite 3 people to a dinner party. Who are they?
Bowden Barrett, James McDonald, and Kevin Wise.
race should most like to win?
Derby.
Horse we should be keeping an eye out for this season.
Oh, Secret.
Fantastic, thank you.
Thank you to Sarah O'Malley. I think she was on the Twitter the other day. She's written a few winners, Sarah, now. I think 200 wins or something. Did I see that right? I don't know, but thanks to Sarah anyway.
Yeah.
Paul?
She was great, wasn't she?
Yeah, she's a Bowden Barrett fan.
Yes, yeah.
Just a touch.
Apart from that, she kept her cards pretty close to her chest.
Yeah. No, who isn't, to be fair? Okay, team, we're going to head down to Wingatui. Massive day down there, Champions Day, and run us through track conditions down here, Steve. What are we going to be expecting?
Yeah, let's have a look. We've got a soft 5 currently, rail out 2 metres from the 800 to the 400, remainder true. I think the weather's okay. I think the weather's okay from the last time I checked the forecast for the next 24, 36 hours. So hopefully no worse than a soft 5. Deserve a little bit of luck down there for their big day, Champions Day. Is that what they still call it, Thaddeus?
Absolutely. No, 100% Champions Day. We want to have a look, obviously, at race number 9, the main race of the day, and that is the White Robe Lodge Group 3 for the 1,600 metres, Stephen. And, this looks well-placed, your favourite.
Just a touch, Prise de Fer, rated a 55% chance winning, $1.80 quote there. Perfect scenario, 650, double figures round exchange, Feeling the Power and the quick backup, and Live Drama, 14 to 10. That's been the significant firm in the middle market. Green Luck at $18. Camino Rocosa, also that same quote from a Sticky Gate. Rock Sensation out of turn of 21 with Aberquinella. Seriously at 26. And Rabina Joy tails the market at $31. So look, overall summary, a Live Drama 14 to 10. There's your only firmer thus far in trading, but Prise de Fer heads the market at $1.80 in a very dominant and short fave.
Crikey pops, $1.80, hasn't budged yet, but what are we thinking here in the White Robe?
What are we thinking? Well, I think we're thinking pile in, aren't we? Gee whiz, I think they've done a great job here in producing a couple of strong chances, haven't they? In this race and the race coming up too. I mean, he's a Group 1 performer, and he's won a Group 1. We know his form leading up to this point where he won the Captain Cook, where he had a number of Group 1 placings. And yeah, I mean, he just ticks all the boxes, doesn't he? Jason Laking takes the ride, and of course has won a Group 1 for Te Akau last season aboard Ballon Rouge in the Oaks. So a terrific jockey to be able to get for the White Robe Lodge. I mean, really, he ticks all the boxes. The track's going to be ideal. I mean, this was a big win, wasn't it? I mean, he tracked the right horse. He tracked Aegon. I mean, Aegon came into that race with unbelievable form lines out of Melbourne, and here he is, you know, getting in his slipstream and going straight past him. And then he went up in distance to 2,050 metres, where there was always going to be that little query with him once he gets to sort of that 2,040 or 2,050 as it was for the Zabeel Classic. But what a race he ran. He ran second behind Defliberate, who's going to be one of the key chances into the Herbie Dyke. So, yeah, he looks the one, and so he should be at $1.80.
Is this a put it on, take it off job, Paul?
It's, yeah, how much can we get on? Responsibly, of course.
Of course.
But just, I thought that just such a tough victory in the Captain Cook.
Beating Aegon as well.
Yes, yeah. And wasn't that far away on Boxing Day in the Zabeel. So the form lines are all there. I think the boys have been fairly generous with the $1.80. I don't expect it to be there on Saturday. As Steve said, the forecast looks pretty good down there, and in fact, up at Christchurch, they've experienced 3 days over 30 degrees in a row. So we should get some very, very good conditions. Prise de Fer looks the one to beat. The $1.80, I'm very, very happy with it. If there was one outside that I had to have a little stab at, I don't mind the Lance Robinson trained Live Drama. Another one where we've already seen a wee bit of action. Won last season over 1,400 metres at Riccarton. So plenty of gusto when going down to Feeling the Power in the Timaru Stakes, and gets in much better at the weights this time. So, yeah, quite happy with Live Drama. In fact, I think we see Live Drama's run here behind Feeling Power, who is also in the race at $10 currently. And Perfect Scenario. And I just thought Perfect Scenario might just finish off a wee bit better than he did. still, it was a nice run, but I really, really did like the work of Live Drama on the inside there. And
How did he get beat?
yeah, well, exactly.
How did he get beat? Look, Perfect Scenario is the second favourite here, Steve. He's getting home strong enough. The Wait for Age is interesting, but it's a horse that showed sort of plenty of promise coming through the grades, isn't it?
Yeah, I think if it's the two horses you want to be taking out of that particular race last Saturday is Perfect Scenario. Just goes up 1 kg from that performance, and also Live Drama, as Paul mentioned, well placed at the weights. It goes down a kg, where Avaquinella goes up significantly, 53 to 57 at Wait for Age. And also Feeling the Power, the winner, goes from 53 to 59. So Feeling the Power, Avaquinella, not rated that well in terms of the conditions of the Wait for Age scale, where Perfect Scenario and Live Drama come out okay if you're just weighing up that particular race. But look, even tempo, I think there's a few horses that want to go forward. Feeling the Power, Rabina Joy will try and hold an okay gate. Seriously will come forward from a sticky gate. Camino Rocoso, well, your guess is as good as mine on what he will do. Green Luck shows tactical speed at times. So, look, Prise de Fer probably has plenty of options from Barrier 5. Jason Lakey, you can just see a few horses roll who have drawn outside and roll to the first half of the field. He can just get a little bit of cover. Midfield or just in front of midfield. $1.80, he doesn't start any higher than $1.80, does he, BP? At $1.80, rated a 55% chance. I thought he'd be pretty close to a 65-70% chance, would he?
Well, if he starts any higher than $1.80, that'd be because there's a boost attached to him, but I don't know if that's happening. That would be the only way I think we can get anything better around the horse. Look, this is a great race if you really do believe he's the one, to try and find a power play. I mean, the power plays will be available on race day, and go through the field and look for that next best chance that you believe can run in the top 4. Is it Live Drama with off that run we've just seen there? And there's been some money move. Is it the Stablemate in Perfect Scenario? Maybe try and find something in that middle market that really does suit your power play, so it can just thicken it up a touch. But at the same time, $1.80 is still very good money to run through your multis throughout the day. So, look, he looks the one. The White Robe Lodge is a race that I keep coming back to because it's a race that Bone Crusher won. He came off a long layoff to win in 1988. He paid $1.50 to Bone Crusher, and Prise de Fer is no Bone Crusher. Did I back it? Well, I was 6, so I probably did. Look, $1.80 for Prise de Fer. It does look to be the right money. Track conditions look ideal for him, so yep, he's the one.
Who is the other one? Is it, if you're going to do that, BP, for your exactors, your power plays? Who are you thinking?
Look, I do like both those horses we've just shown you in that video. I could certainly play around with a Feeling the Power Live Drama. I think both those Southerners are given their chances in the race to be that sort of horse, just because they're at that right sort of price. I mean, obviously you could go the Tangerine way, but if you're just trying to try and find any sort of value at all, I would say those two horses that ran last week in the Quinella with Feeling the Power and Live Drama can certainly run a race.
Paulie, what do you got for this one behind Prise de Fer, I presume?
Yes, Prise de Fer on top, definitely. And I agree with BP. The $1.80 I think is a nice little gift by your team. And I can tell BP, I did push for Prise de Fer to be boosted.
Are you trying to sort of escape responsibility already here? Is this what I'm hearing?
I'm just saying that I thought there was a great chance for us to get, up close to even money. Anyway, take the $1.80. I'm happy to take the $1.80, but Live Drama, I think after that run last time out, I really do like the chances here. Nice little draw. Now $10. I'm not looking elsewhere.
Okay, Prise de Fer, Live Drama, $1.80, Steve, winning?
Yeah, I think so.
On paper, if the races run on paper, as they say.
Yeah, it's not always the case, but he looked well placed. Astute engagement, putting him down here. Missed the run last Saturday. He was all set to run at Trentham, but the heavy track really defaulted his chances to head down to Wingatui. He is still in nominations for the Herbie Dyke next Saturday. He's rated a $7 chance, roughly 4/5 line of betting. Prise de Fer, whether he backs up the 2,000 metres at Wait for Age Tadapa remains to be seen. It'll be on the back of how he performs on Saturday. But look, I probably rate him close to 65-70% chance, win 7 out of 10 of those races, I'd say. So $1.80 is probably marked roughly around that $1.55, $1.60 quote.
Okay, a little bit of juice in the orange. Okay, guys, race number 5, the last race we're going to have a look at today is the Nellie's Bar and Restaurant Dunedin Guineas, Steve, and a pretty short price favourite here.
Romancing the Moon, the stablemate a Prise de Feu at $2, flip of the coin odds, in front of Betty Spaghetti at $7, Elise May $8.50, double figures around Speciality at $10, Inflamed at 12 off a peak of 16, Jaffa at 16 with Hagel, Chibano at 21 with Generation Joy, and Kindred Spirit also at a $21 quote. So look, they're pretty keen on Inflamed in terms of pointing to the the middle market at 16 to 12, but Romancing the Moon again a well-backed fave at $2 and looks hard to beat.
Are they going to have a day out down there tomorrow, BP? Look, that's 6th in the Wellington Guineas, which we'll probably have a look at in a minute behind Cognito, the stablemate. Pretty strong form for a race like this, you'd say.
Yeah, you would. And of course, this was... She was favourite, wasn't she, for quite a long period in this market before... obviously Sharp and Smart then came out, and then Cognito took all that support to be the overall favourite in the end, wasn't it? And Romancing the Moon started second favourite at $4.20. This is a great race. Obviously, there's a lot of good form to take around it. Those that have just in behind the winner Incognito, and she finishes into 6th position. You also got to remember her other runs this preparation have been spot on. I mean, she's bumped into Legato twice this year. Once when she ran second in the Soliloquy Stakes, and she's also run 4th behind her in a 1,000 guineas. For me, that's almost enough, isn't it? When you start mentioning those type of form lines for this race. I think she is the one, and she's the top selection in the race. But I will say there's a couple of other nice chances in the race. I think the Southerners do have an opportunity to beat her if she's not quite on her game. I thought Betty Spaghetti was certainly one of those horses. I like her. I think she's a horse that we saw her through the Cup Week Carnival when she was able to win on the middle day. She produced a good win on that occasion, was very well found in the marketplace, and then has backed that up with a first up run recently on the 19th of January to finish into 3rd position, where it just was a good run over 1,200 metres, more ground. It was everything about Betty Spaghetti's run. It was telling you, oh, next time to the races, a little bit more distance. Can't wait to see her line up to the races. She's got herself a draw. I don't know how much she can actually use her barrier draw, because we haven't quite seen the barrier speed from her in 3 race day starts, but now that they've got an alley, do they use it? But she's the one in the baldy face, working home into 3rd position, and is really good through the line over 1,200 metres. So she's a danger. She is a player in the race. And I just want to quickly touch on Elsie May, because boy, this horse was backed off the map. Man, I'll tell you what, I was leading up, getting ready for the races on Karaka Million Night. There was only one horse on everybody's lips before that race meeting even started. It was Elsie May. What was it, 16s into $2? It was outrageous stuff. Now, look, the word was about, I'd probably say Thursday or Friday, that she was going to run a race, and $8 was floating around at that stage. Boy, I never thought I'd see the horse finish up at a $2 quote. And it was quite a strange run, because at the 500 metre mark, you're thinking, I think I might be gone here. And then all of a sudden it picks up again and finishes into 6th position and with a late burst of speed. So maybe just watch that money train again. It won't be as strong as last time, but there must have been a huge thought that this horse was going to just win and turn up and win in the Gore Guineas.
Well, it's going to be interesting, BP, because the Andertons have a few runners in this race, and one of them's Inflamed, this winner of 2 from 3, but that was one heck of a move on Elsie May. But if we be interested to see which way the money potentially goes here, Paul, because Inflame's been pretty impressive in both of its wins.
It certainly has, and here we have Inflamed winning at Wingatui, and it just kept coming and coming and coming. So you can understand why we've seen a $16 to $12 move for Inflamed. I look back at that Betty Spaghetti race where she found all sorts of trouble in that race and just kept coming down the straight. So the Andertons, they've got some good ones here. I see that there's 3 fillies at the top of the market. No surprises, Mark Walker and Tiako with Romancing the Moon. But yeah, Betty Spaghetti, who is the best backed in the Dunedin Guineas as we speak on a Friday. The biggest bet I saw before we came to air was a $1,000 bet on Romancing the Moon at $2. But A lot of action on Betty, and I'm guessing that the bulk of that action is from the South Island, is on Betty Spaghetti. And after that run, where she just kept coming, and she recorded the fastest last 4 and 200 metre splits in that run home when finishing third. So she looks the main danger to Romancing the Moon, but look, Romancing the Moon has been, as BP mentioned, has been going around and running against some of the classiest 3-year-olds that we've got in the country. And that run in the Wellington Guineas, where she ran, what was it, 6th? She finished in front of Perfect Puss, who came out in Wellington Cup Day and picked up a win. So some pretty good form there around Romancing the Moon at $2. But yeah, Betty Spaghetti, very, very interesting. Wouldn't surprise me to see a whole lot of cash flow the Southern Island way.
Well, there's a few Southerners here, Steve, that might take a bit of cash. That move on Elsie May, though, I know the boys haven't missed it this time at 8.5, but jeepers creepers, you don't see the moves like that too often.
No, that's harness material on it. To be fair, not the thoroughbreds, but well, I'm keen on Inflamed. I know it's a sticky gate for Corey Campbell, but it shows enough tactical speed to hopefully negate the wide draw. What is it, drawn barrier? 15. So it is sticky. It is sticky. I concede that, but look, it's not easy for a 3-year-old, in particular filly, to beat 65 grade horses, which it did. It put a nice speed rating together, 1.5 lengths above par. Inflamed. Yeah, I'm willing to spec that. I know it's come in already 16 to 12, but I think it starts single figures on my assessment. Romancing the Moon, I don't think it starts any shorter than $2.
It was favourite in that. It was, you boys assessed it as favourite in that Wellington Guineas.
Yeah, when Sharp and Smart came out, it really did make that market flip over its head. But look, Romancing the Moon, I still think her ideal trip is between 1,200 metres and 7 furlongs. So anytime she's getting over the 7 furlongs, I do feel there's a slight question mark, albeit this is a step down in quality of horses, what she's meeting over the North Island, in particular the Wellington Guineas over 1,400 metres. So her test will be that last furlong, in particular that last 100 metres. Yep. So she'll need a gun run. She should get that from the gate, but at $2, I think she's short enough. And as we're seeing a few of those Southerners firm from that $7, even the middle teen market. So interesting race, but I'll get Inflamed fractionally on top at a nice quote.
Okay, BP, what are your numbers in this year's Dunedin Guineas?
Yeah, look, I'm going to stick with Romancing the Moon, and the one race I keep coming back to is a race over 1,400 metres this season, where she ran second behind Legato in the Soliloquy Stakes at Te Rapa, beaten 3 lengths. On that occasion, she did beat Home Prowess. Muzzolino were also horses that ran 3rd and 5th in that particular race. So if she can run anywhere close to that form, I mean, far out. I mean, running second 3 lengths behind Legato is good enough, but she also beat 2 very, very good horses as well at the same time. So if she finds that form, that's winning form for this race. But I'm very, very wary of a couple of Southerners, and one of them being Betty Spaghetti off the back of that run last time to the races. She certainly can run a race. So yeah, Romancing the Moon and Betty Spaghetti would be the couple I'll be looking towards.
You're following the Southern money train here, Betty Spaghetti?
As Patrick Swayze said on Ghost, ditto. Yeah, I'm with BP, Romancing the Moon on top and Betty Spaghetti. Just on that, the form that she's shown already and the fact that there's a whole lot of South Island money on.
The Southern cash has arrived for Betty Spaghetti. Okay, team, we better wind it up. Let's get to some best bets for the weekend, team. We'll start with you, BP. We'll come back to you. Where's your best bet this week?
All right, maybe we should make some crockery together one day, Paul and Mawadi.
I'm sure that's something the viewers would love to see.
That's not a vision I want to.
That's an image I'm not going to get out of my head anytime soon.
Or maybe some spaghetti then, okay. All right, right, where are we going? Best bet. I'm going to Sunday, and quite like this horse, Mark Twain. Now, I've got a couple of reservations maybe around track conditions and those sorts of things, but boy, he does bounce into a nice race. It looks winnable for him because he's over more distance. He is a Derby type. I don't know if it's the New Zealand Derby or if it's the Queensland Derby. It might be the Queensland Derby, but he is a very, very nice horse. And his run was unlucky at Trentham. Very unlucky because the speed just evaporated it out of the race, and he was back last, checked off heels. Yeah, you might want to go back and have a look at his run last time to the races because he was pushing them over the line. Mark Twain on Sunday out of Tauranga.
Okay, a horse to follow going forward by the sound of it as well. Paulie, our star performer I never thought I'd be saying that. Where are you going for your best bet?
I never thought you'd be saying that. In fact, you say it through gritted teeth.
I do.
I'm heading down south. I'm looking at the Dunedin Guineas and Romancing the Moon. I just, if she can produce the sort of form that she did not too long ago, I think she should be just too good for this lot. So, and that's taking nothing away from the Betty Spaghettis or the Elsie Mays. I just think Romancing the Moon should be just a wee bit too good with Hakeem the Dream Cameroonian on board.
Hakeem the Dream. Very good. And a throwback to the 80s wrestling. Stephen Hunt, where are you going for your best bet of the weekend?
You don't have to wait too long. This afternoon at Te Rapa, Waikato Guineas, race 8, Waitak. Last start second, the Auckland Guineas was very, very good. This was his win 2 starts back at Te Rapa, but last start second in behind Prowess in the Auckland Guineas was very good. Joe Doyle defaulted back to the last third from an outside marble and sat 3 wide covering ground in that position, but his run home, his last 600 was outstanding, just breaking down his last 3 furlong splits, 6 to the 4, 11.85, 4 to the 2, 11.10. His last 200 was 11.13, which was the quickest of the meeting, which, as we know, included the Group 1 railway over 1,200 metres. And all those sectionals were produced off an even tempo, so I've got no dramas whatsoever. He can step up to the mile and a quarter Waitak. Still question mark Derby, whether they head that way. Obviously, this afternoon will tell that story, but look, he's clearly the one to beat on from what I've seen in terms of numbers and performances to date, Waitak. And I've got him marked as one of the better 3-year-olds, including Prowess and Wild Knight over 16 to 2,000 metres. So he should be doing a job this afternoon. Track conditions, currently a soft 7, showers forecasted. BP will probably elude us a little bit more out the window, but look, it shouldn't be too bad in terms of Waitak if it drops a couple of pentrometer readings.
Okay, Waitak for Steve. Let's wrap it up, team. Paul, what do we need to know before we get out of here?
Don't forget our Twitter poll. Head to Twitter and place your vote on the runner that you'd like to see boosted. The top 2 vote getters will be boosted. We've got Ulanova in the 2-year-old race down at New Plymouth, Self Obsession in the Cup, Romancing the Moon in the Dunedin Guineas, and Second Thought, that's race 7 down there at Wingatui. Don't forget to leave a comment, and you'll go in the draw to win a $100 bonus bet. Last week's winner at Oh No, What Is That?
At Oh No, What Is That? Okay, well done.
Jeez, I'm just looking at that graphic. Gee, I'm glad there's no prise de fer.
Oh, week from you,
Stoked.
Buati.
Yeah,
Week.
I'm sorry.
And what else? Bonus back blitz, is that on? Or
We've got the bonus back blitz again this Saturday. The first 4 races at Wingatui, New Plymouth, Randwick and Sandown. So 16 races altogether on Saturday where we'll be bonus back enabling. Once again, no deductions, no surprises. If you're watching this Friday, find something at Te Rapa that you really, really like.
and wait for the downgrade.
Indeed. Yeah.
Very good. We've got 30 seconds. BP, enjoy your weekend. I know you will. Good luck.
Yep, Sydney World team. Yep, looking forward to it. And races on Sunday out of Tauranga, and as we've all mentioned, Monday and Tuesday. So yep, lot coming up. So everyone enjoy your weekend.
Yep. Thanks, BP, for your efforts as always. Thank you, gentlemen. Enjoy your time. What are you doing tomorrow, Paul?
I've got the day off.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
Yeah, I might just, nice relaxing day on the couch with trackside on.
Yeah,
How about
very
that?
good. Nice.
For a change.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, that
We'll
is.
see you in 7 days.
Look forward to it.
And we'll see you in 7 days' time as well. Join us again on The Leg Up.